Well, hello everyone. Here to show you right here, some photos right here that I was, taking right here of the sun right here. Talk about you for the eclipse right here. And I know that looking through a pair of eclipse glasses, especially if it's going to be like an old pair, and I know that there's going to be anybody that's going to maybe say that if you're going to still have your original old pair of glasses, maybe from the early 1990, or from maybe from back in '07, or maybe 2010 or something, just to be able to watch the eclipse. But you see right here that this right here will be a photograph that I was able to take, of the sun right there. And then that will be you're holding the glasses right up to my eyes, so that way I can go ahead and take the photograph right there of the sun right there. And you see right here is the sun right here. And each time that I'm going to be looking at the eclipse view from here, that it seems like every time I put the glasses on and look at the sun, it's going to kind of remind me a little bit of like an eye exam. And I know that in case if somebody were to say that that even after the eclipse, and exactly what are you going to be using the glasses for necessarily. And keep them for a souvenir, or if anything that maybe they use it maybe just to test your eyes a little bit. And how many doctors are going to maybe say that that's really generous or healthy for your eyes, to be able to test your eyes just by staring at the sun for so much timing. And then they say that, yeah, really, what all is there really to look at, even if you still have a pair of eclipse glasses. And so the way I think about it too, especially around March and April, that if we're going to be looking at the sun directly, and let's just say there's some cloud cover right here. So you have right here's a photograph right there, and you have right here's a photograph right here. And so yeah, that's a little bit, say a little bit close up right there. And then also this painting right here of the eclipse right here for 2019. So I know that the way I painted this right here, I'll say that there's enough light, coming in. I'm like, so yeah, that looking at the eclipse, and you can actually see the shape right there, the shadow right there. And so whenever you're going to be staring at the sun and watching it pass through the shadow, you say if it's going to be a moon shadow, or if it's going to be the earth shadow, so it's an eclipse, that basically that half the time that I also wonder too, that sometimes, why is it that sometimes I see still, whenever you're going to be looking up there in the sky, especially if it is the eclipse of the moon, it seems like that you can still see parts of the shapes of the moon, or maybe if it's, like, say that even if it is the sun. But still, though, that with the cloud cover, though, and the way I painted this right here, that I want to go ahead and include, like, maybe, like, say between the lighter and darker values on each side that you have right here is one side right here that will mark for whenever it was daytime, and then for whenever it gets darker right here. So I know whenever the moon shadow is going to be moving past the sun right here, that I guess you say that that so I guess the way I painted this right here is almost like that means that for what part of the shadow it's moving for. And you say if it's coming from from the north, or from the east. But so you say you have right here for the darker, and then you have right here for the lighter value right here. But just to kind of show that for what whenever it gets darker, that a lot of times it you would think that yeah, you would think maybe that the lighter value would be on this side right here, but then you have right here off on the left. But anyway, yeah, whenever you're getting ready to paint something artistic, and at the time that you're likely warned toward it, you're kind of looking at it very carefully and want to know that why. As I say, if you got them backwards, you got it. You got the lighter and darker texture values of the painting. If you got it flipped, you got it backwards compared to what you actually seen. But what you actually see in real life. But I know that whenever I was working on this, mainly though, that I was also checking to see any improvements, and anything else that I can use with this painting. And and say, in case if somebody were to ask me that yeah, whenever you're going to be working at a painting based on the eclipse, though, that sometimes it's like, what the basic idea that I got right here is mainly is just to form, I say, like a ring shape right here, and talk about you for the next year right here for 2019. So in case they say, yeah, the number of paintings I've done about the eclipse right here and show right here, is the sun right here. But still, though, that I was really kind of like what you call trying to show right here's between day and night right here, and for what for anything about what you call photographs that you're able to take of the sun, and so I know that anything related to what you call the great outdoors or anything going out there in the sky, and so I could think that a lot of painters would maybe one or two that if you talk about perspective, trying to capture the paintings or anything going on from far distance. That's for perspective. But anyway, the guy right there is the eclipse right there. But still, though, that I know whenever I was looking at this right here, it's like you have right here is a shape right here, and then you have right here is the. But still, I know I wanted to mention about the clouds though. That whenever I'm looking through the eclipse glasses, sometimes that I see cloud cover going through the sun. So I know that even though if you do look through those glasses, that you can probably you basically more likely see this right here. That you see right here is the sun that was looks like a diamond ring. Looks like a diamond ring going sideways, but still that if there's going to be cloud cover going past the sun, and then sometimes though it seems like that but the cloud cover may not be the same thing, but still though that whenever you're able to look at the clouds though, clouds passing by the sun, as I say, a lot of times the sun is pretty bright. During the day, if it's real bright during the day, then maybe you can see things through those eclipse glasses whenever it's passing through the clouds. And really those eclipse glasses are not really for find out if there's a storm coming or something like that, if there's a storm going by or something. But let's just say that if something visible in the sky, such as maybe the stars or maybe other planets in our galaxy, that you likely warrant too, that different things that you can see with the glasses, and you have, like say, have the right filter adjustments and all. But still, that whenever I look through those glasses, that I also look at the sun sometimes, even when there's clouds passing by, and those clouds though, if we're talking about whenever there's a storm, whenever there's a cool front, or a warm front moving through, then it seems like that do you see other things going on besides a ring right here? Do you also maybe see maybe if there's birds flying from the west or something like that? But still though that whenever I get a telescope, or if I do get a pair of eclipse glasses, and you're likely thinking too that they do no basic study of science, is that what all can you really see out of those glasses? And so I could say that really though that I do wonder maybe by 2021, or maybe if it's going to be by 2024, that if they're going to maybe have it to where you can actually view the eclipse in 3D, and I guess in order to be able to do that 3D glasses maybe it requires maybe like a special filter or something, like a special kind of filter that you can use. And I know that they probably do make them now. They probably are expensive, but you can probably get them. You can probably get them as of today. You can get glasses with special filters to where you can see things going on up there in the sky, such as maybe the satellites. And anybody say that, really, why would anybody want to look at a satellite? Why would anybody want to see a satellite from Earth, from in space? But still, if it would require like a special kind of filter to where you can actually see stuff going on in space. And so let's just say that, a special kind of filter that you can wear for glasses or for like a telescope, that if it is daytime and you're likely wearing to it, there's not really a whole lot you can see during the day. Whenever if you're trying to look at something in space, that seems so impossible, don't it? You can't really can you really catch your satellite images from glasses, but still though that looking at this right here, that I mainly wanted to go ahead and use it, and I'm like, do some more improvement on the work that I had, and talk about for 2019, and I know any locations within totality that say that there might be some places in parts of South America, parts of the of the Indian or Atlantic Ocean. I'm like, but still, that I know that certain areas that you can maybe see an eclipse around this time of the year, or if anything by 2020 or 2021. But when any time that you're gonna maybe see an eclipse, and I know with me though that like I say, whenever I paint a picture of the eclipse, I'm also figuring out like, yeah, for what looks best, and I find that very difficult for me, is to where that if you're trying to, even if you are able to see, I think one of those harvest type moons, if you're able to see the moon with a ring around it, I think the harvest moon or something like that is what it's called. Whenever you're trying to capture something like that on camera, and let's just say if the ISO is not set correctly on the camera, you can't really take that the photograph of the rings around the moon, and or anything else going, like, yeah, if the moon tends to change color, or possibly if the sun, if there's enough light from the atmosphere or something, something that they might mention later on, maybe by 2020, in the science magazine, the National Geographic's, the science study magazines, the newspapers, that knowing about if there's enough light or enough moisture in the atmosphere, and knowing about what the sun's going to do, or what the stars or what the moon's going to be doing. But still, though, that nowadays it seems like that you have to have the right equipment, the right filter, just to be able to capture a lot of this stuff going on in space or in myself. But still, and it might be expensive, but I tell you one thing though, that in case of anybody that may ask me that, whenever you do your paintings, does that give you any kind of idea about possibly that what you can maybe see in reality? And I'm like, really though, that I really don't think that you'll be able to see the year, in through those glasses. Maybe if there's like what you call like a special make, that where that the year is going to appear on the bottom part right there for on the glasses. But if you're going to be looking at the sun right here, and so let's just say that, yeah, that for any reason at all, that maybe if you're just imagining that the sun is changing colors, or maybe if they're going to have maybe a special made type of glasses or goggles to where you can actually see the rainbows very well. I have not seen that yet, everybody, and yeah, the rainbows. If you're able to spot a rainbow, and let's just say if you're able to get there needs to be enough water and vapor inside the air just to be able to see like a rainbow, any source of rainbow activity. But rainbows or anything like that. But yeah, it's like saying knowing about how you can describe a pot of gold. But anyway, I guess a pot of gold basically means as to where you have reached your destination. You have reached your destination from your journey. And I guess if that's sometimes that people refer that to where you have reached your destination. But you see right here, yeah, it looks like a diamond ring, and the way and I know, in case of anybody that may want to, where if there's any source of engagement going on, maybe a wedding plans or anything like that. This right here looks just like a ring right here, and let's just say that anything related to a ring, and want to know just a little bit too really though, with the eclipse though, that you're able to see something very clear up there in the sky, going up there in space, down here from Earth, right? But still though, that sometimes though, if you're trying to capture a photograph of that, and so that's just a thing though, that I know with me though, that a lot of times I do have, it seems like I have a lot more luck painting them on a program like Illustrator or Photoshop than compared to actually taking the pictures. Because if we see this right here, that this right here, I know we could probably use a lot more adjustments for the balance of the ISOs, speed, shutter speed, and all. I'm like, yeah, that a little bit more lighter values around the sun right here. But this is basically what you see whenever you're looking through those glasses, and if we see that, just very carefully, I'm like, look at the sun for. And I know that you're looking through those glasses too. That if you're going to be looking through those glasses, and want to know just a little bit of that too, to where that you see what's going on up there at the sun. But still, though, it's like say that looks like grapefruit. Anyway, but talk about for the eclipse right here, and knowing about the views for able to find about the glasses. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and and happy New Year.